If you have been anywhere online this week, then you must have been seeing all the content about Thanksgiving. And I, as an African mother, as a Kenyan mom, have literally no idea about Thanksgiving apart from the fact that it's an American holiday that has to do with gratitude and family. And to me, that is enough to make me want to try to make the recipes, because the main reason is that it's a good way for me to learn new recipes. I'm always looking for new recipes to make for my family. So I was like, why not try these Thanksgiving dinner dishes that I've been seeing all over the interwebs, and then I will give you my feedback on what I feel around them. I'm very excited about the roasted fowl, because I'm not going to call it turkey because I couldn't get turkey, so I'm using chicken. But I'm excited because it always looks so nice. Then I've heard about sweet potato casserole, green bean casserole, pumpkin pie. Why anyone would want to put pumpkin in a pie, I have no idea. But we're going to find out together, okay? So the first thing I want to do is to deal with my chicken. And what I'm going to do, okay, here's the other thing. The other thing is that I'm a working mom. And so I'm trying to get this done over the period of 2 days because the recipes are a lot. And that there's a lot of hands-on things that need to be done. So today I want to prepare more, to do a lot of prepping, and then tomorrow after work I'll do the main cooking, and then we'll see how it goes. I've been researching, I have my recipes right here, details and everything. So I'm really hoping that everything is going to go well. I'm hoping my family will like it. Delicious! So in lieu of turkey, we got 2 large chickens from Naivas. This one is 1.9 kg, this one is 1.6, and because we're a large family, and then there's always this stock of leftover turkey, so I guess we'll have leftover chicken. Yeah, so the first thing I want to do is to do a dry brine so that the chicken meat can absorb all the flavors. I have all my ingredients here. So it's basically, I'm going to rub it with the spices and make sure they absorb into the meat overnight. And then I'm going to roast it tomorrow. I'm excited to we learn together, we experiment together. And maybe we'll get some nice recipes that we can use even for the Christmas season or for any season when we are hosting on those special occasions. You know, we learn from each other. I've always wanted to know how to roast a whole chicken. Of course, because I've seen it done so many times on TV by so many people. So this is just, I am sure, one of those recipes that I am definitely going to be doing again and again, especially if it turns out well. I have no idea how any of these are going to turn out at this point. But if all the movies and TV shows I have watched in all my life about Thanksgiving are anything to go by, this is a favorite part of the Thanksgiving dinner. So let's see how it goes. So that's it for the chicken for today. I have done the dry brine and everything. I'm going to put it in the fridge overnight until tomorrow without covering it. Apparently this is what gives it a crispy skin, and everybody wants that bit of crispy skin. So let me put this away and then we get on to the pumpkin pie. So now I want to start on the pumpkin pie. As I said, for us here in Africa, in Kenya, and I know I speak for many, we don't understand the whole fascination with pumpkins. Not that we don't love them, but in some cases they're considered food for babies. In some other cases, pumpkin is good for soup, and that's about it. We don't do a lot of pies generally in our culture. So actually, I don't even have a pie dish, by the way. So I'm just going to use one of my oven dishes. The recipe calls for pumpkin puree, which we cannot buy here because, as I said, in our culture it's not a thing. But thankfully, I found that it's pretty easy to make pumpkin puree, which is what I'm doing right now. Another thing that we cannot find here is pie crust. You can't buy pie crust from the supermarket. So I'm going to make it from scratch. The times I've tried to make pie crust before, it has been a disaster. But maybe that time is a charm, you know. I'm really curious to hear from you guys after I make all these dishes. Like, do you feel, let me know which ones of these you think, okay, let me know first of all which ones of these you've ever tried. But then incidentally, our second largest audience is in the States. So I know, like, if you're from there, you can let us know, like, am I doing the right thing? But for the rest of the majority of us here, I would just really like to hear, like, have you guys ever been curious about this Thanksgiving thing? It's such a big deal everywhere on the internet, like, and it's been like that forever. And then now they start doing pumpkin spice everything. Pumpkin spice latte. Like, who puts pumpkin in coffee? I mean, who? Why? Candles that smell like pumpkin spice. So part of me feels like, okay, I think we're missing something. The rest of us, like, there's something here that apparently people know that we've been missing. And then the other side of me is like, nah, it's a bit too much hype. So today we're finally going to see whether it's worth all the hype or not. But honestly, you guys, the most driving factor for me doing this whole thing is just finding out new ways to present food to my people. Clearly finding new ways to feed my children pumpkin if they like it. Well, let's just wait and see. But I'm really excited. So the guys in the West are so, I feel, lucky in the sense of they get to buy pie crust from the supermarket, like already mixed. This is the first time that it's going, I'm really hoping it's going to work for me, because as I said, I've really tried to make pies before, but I tried to make an apple pie for my kids just like 2 years ago. It was a complete disaster. So I'm really hoping this one works out. But those are just some of the comforts that I feel, make this holiday so much easier. Okay, this butternut squash has cooked so well. I think roasting it is such a good idea. It's so caramelized. Tastes like I've added sugar, which I haven't. And the skin comes off so easily. And yeah, it's just, I already have a good feeling that it's going to taste well if the butternut squash is anything go by. But then I look at all the things that we are adding into it. I'm like, is it really gonna taste nice, But the butternut part, that's a win. When I compare American holiday food with our own Kenyan holiday food, I have a few observations, okay? Just so far from the research and from the recipes that I'm making today. I feel like in that culture, they have really special food for really special occasions. Like pumpkin pie is specifically only during autumn and only for Thanksgiving, by the way. So is a sweet potato casserole. I mean, all those, the turkey, you see. But then for us guys, I feel like our holiday food is also our everyday food when you're having guests. It's also the food that we serve at weddings. Are we just not creative? Or are we just, like staying in our comfort zone? I don't know. But please clap for my pie crust. Let me tell you, I am so excited that my pie crust is crusting. Ignore all the small flaws that I had to do a bit of repair here and there, but I am so excited for this pie crust. Already I feel like a winner. So now here is where I felt like it's starting to get a bit strange for me. I was okay with the roasting of the butternut. Okay, I'm okay there. But now we're adding eggs to butternut squash or pumpkin. Then we're adding brown sugar, and then we're adding sweetened condensed milk and cinnamon and nutmeg. I was like, where exactly are we going with this? And then we're adding vanilla. Like, I don't know, this could either be a serious hit or a serious miss, because already just looking at it, honestly, it's not calling my name. It is not calling my name. But I'm really curious to see how it turns out, okay? And my pie crust is giving me hope that this dish will be okay. But the feeling is not. Let's wait and see how they mix in the oven. You guys, I baked my first pie ever from scratch. I am so excited. It smells so nice. Like, I cannot believe this is pumpkin. What ChatGPT said, that if you want to know that it's done, it's supposed to be firm on the edges, like up to 2 inches in, but then in the middle, it's supposed to still be wobbly. Okay, so you can see it's wobbling a bit. I don't know why it's cracked. It wasn't cracked when I checked on it 10 minutes ago, but then it wasn't like as firm all the way, so I was like, let me just give it 10 more minutes. When I went to take it out, it was completely cracked. I don't know what I did wrong, but bottom line is that me, baked a pie. It smells delicious. I believe it's going to taste delicious as well. Yeah, so my first Thanksgiving dish is finished. Yes. Now I want to make the sweet potato casserole. Again, this is something I have never tasted, I've never seen. It sounds very interesting because here the only way we know how to cook sweet potatoes is either we are boiling to have with tea in the morning, very yummy breakfast, or the new Burundian recipe. I cannot stop talking about it because I love it so much. But a sweet potato casserole with marshmallows, hello! Of course I have to try it. My kids are so excited about the marshmallow part. And then for prep, I'm just going to make the sweet potato base and put it in the fridge, and then tomorrow that's when I'm going to bake it with the marshmallows. Yum! By the way, I was today years old when I found out that this sweet potato casserole is also the one that is referred to as candied yam. I don't know why they call them yams, because here yams are something, of course you guys know yams are yams, yams are yams, and then these are sweet potatoes. It's just so interesting how different we are. And yeah, so if you hear candied yams, just know that it is a sweet potato casserole with marshmallows. I think the marshmallows is the candied part of it. Now, what I'm finding interesting and different from everything I watched online when it comes to making this meal is, as I said, first of all, our sweet potatoes are not the orange ones. The orange ones that I've seen guys from the West using, they are very soft. Like even when it's cooked, you can easily mash it with a fork. Ours are so tough. I had such a hard time mashing them and then mixing them up. So that's why I think it's different. And the recipe called for a certain amount of milk and eggs. The spices are exactly the same as what we put in the pumpkin pie, which I also found to be very different. I mean, like, I know it is the season, but surely does everything have to have cinnamon and nutmeg? I don't know. I'm not judging. I'm just asking as a concerned citizen. Okay, but I had to add quite a lot more milk because my sweet potatoes were just not mashing. That's just basically because of the type of sweet potatoes that I have. So most of what I'm doing today, there's a lot of baking. So I'm also going to use our air fryer using the oven option because I need to bake the sweet potato casserole. I'm preheating the oven for that. And then I need to bake the green bean casserole. I need to bake the mac and cheese, and I need to bake the chicken. First, let me remove the sweet potato casserole and the chicken from the fridge so that they can start getting into room temperature. Let me tell you, I almost made the classic mistake that I've seen a lot of people making, which is removing the sweet potato casserole from the fridge and putting it straight into the oven, because that would have been the fastest way to have my casserole dish just shatter. And now I have baked it, and now the last thing I need to do is to put the marshmallows. I don't know who discovered that you can put marshmallows on sweet potato. I mean, I don't know who discovered any of these things, you guys. People are just clearly a lot more creative than some of us. But wow, just look at how gorgeous it looks coming out of the oven. The last dish I want to prep is the stuffing. First of all, I used to think stuffing goes into the cavity of the turkey or the chicken, but apparently it doesn't. I don't know why it's called stuffing, and yet I don't think we are stuffing anything. But I mean, who am I to judge? The only prep I'm doing for the stuffing is to cut up the bread, and then I'm going to dry it in the oven for maybe 40 minutes to an hour, and then also chop up the ingredients. That's it. The rest will be done tomorrow. You know what I've just thought? Since the oven is still pretty warm from the pumpkin pie, I'm just going to put these cubes in there. I've already switched off the oven, but it's still pretty warm. So I'm just going to put the tray in the oven, not switch it on, and then leave it there overnight. I think there is enough warmth in there to dry them out, and then I won't have to switch on the oven and then wait for 40 minutes because I need to go to bed. Tomorrow is a working day and I want to be fresh for work. Another thing that I found to be a bit surprising as far as this holiday meal is concerned, which is different from ours, let me say I found it to be different, is that there are no salads. As we're so used to having like 2 or 3 different types of salads, and also no cake. Again, we're used to having dessert for cake or something to serve with tea. I guess a pumpkin pie will do, but something with wheat, no. But a lot of this has, okay, it's different, okay, which I'm finding to be interesting. From work took me a lot longer than I expected, but anyway, I'm here now and this meal has to get finished today. So what I've done first is to remove the bread for the stuffing from the oven. It's quite dry. Just listen. Like this is the best texture for that, as I gather. And then these dishes use so much butter. I was like, my goodness, I wish you could afford this much butter here. So like for this stuffing, I'm just mixing half butter, half cooking oil because, you know, budget. Yeah, well, it's very different. People say that cooking for Thanksgiving is hard work. I've seen a lot of that sentiment online. But honestly, I mean, tell me if I'm wrong. I found it to be so much easier than what us guys do, because most of this is just mix, put in the oven, mix, put in the oven. Which also makes sense why you find, like, when you look at those house showings, like for houses in the West, especially in America, they have like 2 ovens. I'm like, well, we didn't want to need 2 ovens. Now I understand, because I was so glad I had like the air fryer in our actual oven, but I still wished I had another one, because there is so much oven work for Thanksgiving dishes. Very few dishes are made on the stove. I also found out today that you can actually make a stuffing with meat. So I am definitely going to be looking for that recipe. But this, you guys, this stuffing surprised me as how tasty it is. Don't be fooled. Now, the next dish I'm making is mac and cheese. And again, for me, this was a surprising addition. I think this is the one meal that I have seen being cooked during the year in other times, apart from just during Thanksgiving. I did not expect it to be part of the Thanksgiving dishes, but apparently it is. I did not have enough cheese or enough butter for this, because I actually saw recipes for saying to use 5 different types of cheese. 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. No, when I rob that bank, yeah, I will do that. Until then, I just had to deal with what I have. have, and I'm kind of looking forward to this. I've once tried to make mac and cheese for my kids. I'm really curious to see how. Of course, it won't be as stringy. Let me just tell you, okay? Buyer beware. Let me prepare you in advance. Do not expect this to be like those ones when they serve mac and cheese and there are all those strings of cheese, because my pocket is not that stretchy. Okay, it cannot expand like those strings. So I'm just working with what I have, but I'm really curious to see how it turns out. Again, it's cheese, it's pasta. I don't think we can go wrong here. And again, maybe I shouldn't say surprising thing is that it all somehow ends up in the oven. Despite the fact that it looks ready right now to me, we are going to give it a sort of crusty cover with breadcrumbs supposed to be mixed with butter, but you know, I don't need to explain further. By now you get my relationship with butter, okay? So I used a bit of cooking oil, and then only until I have put the breadcrumbs did I realize how uneven the surface was. So I'm trying to level it, but I think that it is the way it is. And then it goes into the oven for about 20 minutes. Okay, this does not look half bad, by the way. So it's fine, but we'll taste and see. Now it's time to make the green bean casserole. This is the only green thing that I found here. My heart is a bit sad about that because I just feel like there's so much starch and not as much even protein or greens for fiber. But again, it's just me. I don't want to compare so much with how us guys do our holiday meals, but I can't help it because I'm like, I would need something to help me digest all this. But the green bean casserole is actually looking very good. One thing I found out is that you can buy cream of mushroom soup and then you're going to put in there, or if you're like me and you don't have that in your supermarket, just make it from scratch, which is what I basically did here with the mushrooms and the milk and the flour and the cream. Very, very easy. I feel like this dish is one that I will be making again and again. I haven't tasted it yet, but the fact that it's a mixture of cream of mushroom plus it has green beans, I'm very optimistic about this one. The pressure that I am feeling right now is real. I see why those moms are always looking so haggard during Thanksgiving, because there's so many dishes at the same time. And then I think that there's this general expectation that every single dish must be there, otherwise the Thanksgiving meal is not complete. Surprisingly, it also somehow ends up in the oven, but I think it's just to give it that crusty exterior. So I'm going to sprinkle it with a bit of breadcrumbs and then we're going to bake it. However, this is one of those dishes that be nice. Like if your kids don't like greens, you can just trick them into this and they'll just eat without knowing that they're eating greens, because it's very promising to me right now. Okay, the green bean casserole looks yum. It does. It's time to make the cranberry sauce. Apparently, you could buy cranberry sauce like I did, but also apparently, you can extend this. I wish I'd have bought 2 cans of it. Hindsight is 2020, but it was also good to find out that even if you buy, okay, number one, some people apparently look down on others who make cranberry sauce, who buy cranberry sauce and not make it from scratch. I don't know why. I don't know. Anyway, so, but there are those who just buy from the supermarket and they're good to go. So what I found out is that if you've bought from the supermarket and it's not like enough, like for me obviously I bought a small can, you can also extend it with some orange juice and some cinnamon, which is what I'm doing. Let's hope it turns out okay. I feel like even here we should sort of like maybe have specific meals we make for specific occasions, because then it gives you something to look forward to, you know? I don't know, I think it's just me. But this cranberry sauce is winning. Alright, only 2 dishes left, which is just roasting my chicken, and once it's done, making the gravy with the dripping. Can you say yum? Okay, so what I've done is I have wrapped my chicken with butter. I've seen people go through the whole process of putting spices in their butter and everything. For me at this point, you guys, I just want this meal done. I will not lie, I'm like, these are too many dishes, I'm feeling so much pressure, people are hungry, they need to eat. I'm so glad I had this thermometer, because one thing I found out is that to know whether the chicken is done, it's supposed to be at 76 degrees centigrade at the thickest part, and I just found out that it's not yet, and it's been in the oven, by the way, for an hour. And as you can see, also another way to know that it's done, the drippings are supposed to be clear and mine are still a bit blood. Okay, very, very important. And thankfully, the thickest part has good temperature, because it's supposed to be more than 36, and I am happy. The chicken looks amazing. If you ask me, it looks so juicy. The skin is indeed crisp. So here I give myself 20 out of 10. And now it's time for the gravy. You saw when I was putting the chicken in the oven, why I put a little bit of water in the pan below. You saw that whatever drippings fall on that pan don't burn up. And that's how I ended up with the dripping, okay? But now they're not enough, so what I decided to do is to add some water into the drippings, because I'm making gravy, and then I used a stock cube. Guys, I'm just working with what I have this point in time. Then I'm going to thicken with a bit of slurry, and that's it. And I also have a question. You guys, I'm finding this salt that I bought weird. Like when I put this salt in water with a bit of oil, it bubbles up. Does yours do that, or is just this brand? Have they put some weird chemicals in it? Another thing that I have is gravy browning, and it's coming in handy when I make gravy. But yeah, this is the finished product. I'm super excited for this gravy, man. My spread is done. Let me show you what I made. So here is the pumpkin pie. Cannot wait to dig into that one. Okay, I cannot wait to dig into everything, but that's pumpkin pie. These are my 2 chickens. Came out very, very well. I can't wait to taste that. Sweet potato casserole, yum. This is a stuffing. For me, this has been the surprise of the day so far. Gravy, cranberry sauce, mac and cheese, and believe it or not, this is the green bean casserole. There's green beans under all this, okay? All these breadcrumbs. I'm really curious to see what my kids will say. Also, what they're all just going to taste like, because I'm so curious. Oh, you said you want this one? Mm-hmm. Do you know what this is?
No.
Try and reduce the sizes of these scoops. This
This what?
is called stuffing.
Stuffing.
Yeah.
So that's a piece of chicken, and then you put something inside.
You know, that's what I thought. This is a green bean casserole.
Green bean casserole.
Yeah.
Now there are 2 casseroles.
So many casseroles. I'm struggling with what to serve my kids, you guys. There's so much food here that their little plates are getting so full, and I want them to taste everything, but it's so much food. I don't think they're going to finish. Let's wait and see. Alright guys, let's hear. What do you think about it? Let's go from the oldest.
It's good.
What's your favorite part?
I'm only taking the green bean casserole first.
And you like it? Who has tasted something different?
Me.
Let's hear. What do you like?
The mac and cheese is delicious.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Truly?
Mhm.
Are you sure?
Mm-hmm.
Alright, let's go. Someone else?
The green bean casserole is in green bean.
It's really
It's
green bean.
delicious.
Who has tasted the sweet potato? How is it?
Delicious.
Really?
Mm.
What do you think about the chicken?
Delicious.
Time for my taste test. I've taken a few bites. Let me tell you. The green bean casserole. It's nice and chewy and very creamy, which is nice. The sweet potato. So sweet. It is so sweet. My mac and cheese did not come out as stringy because I was restricted in terms of cheese. But I'm not complaining. It still tastes okay. It's not my most favorite dish here, but with a bit of gravy, it's really nice. My stuffing, oh my goodness. You know, I've discovered why I like it so much. It tastes like garlic bread. It's very nice. Alright, chicken, cranberry sauce, sweet and sour. Oh wow, that's interesting. So we're going to finish having this meal and then we'll have pumpkin pie. I hope people like it the way I do. But so far, this is a great meal. Beautiful. Love it. I made a pie, you guys. For the first time ever in my life, the pie crust held together. I'm super excited. The fact that it's a pumpkin pie, let's now wait and see. One of our kids took a bite and he was like, so I'm waiting to see after several bites whether he will like. And he's one who likes pumpkin a lot, so we'll see. As for me, let's see. It is very, very sweet. Oh my goodness, it is so sweet. It tastes, I don't know how to describe it. The cinnamon, the nutmeg, there's this very unique taste. Now I see why everyone is talking about pumpkin spice, everything. It has a very unique pumpkiny, cinnamony taste, which I love.
The crust. It has, when you eat the crust and the pie filling together, it has a soft and then a hard.
Crunchy.
Yeah, soft and hard, crunchy texture. You know what? I like it. Despite the fact that the crust is kind of hard to cut through, to be honest, I wouldn't exactly rank this my top favorite meal. But still, it's delicious.
Nice. Thanks for being honest.
The crust is hard, and also, for some reason, I can't really taste the crust. The pumpkin is just so sweet. You can't make it out with your tongue. Yeah.
The pie is overpowering the crust.
Yeah, but you know what? I don't know. I think my most favorite dish was the chicken.
The chicken.
My dish of the day was the pie. My favorite dish in the whole meal was, it had to be the stuffing.
The stuffing.
Stuffing.
Really? Nice. I'm torn between the stuffing and the chicken. I think the chicken with the cranberry sauce, for me, that was mwah, very nice.